Hello, Johnny Dankseed here again. Haven't posted in a while, so I figured I'd show what I've been working on. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. I did not go to school for this. I don't work as this, this is not my profession. I'm just sharing what I learned on the way, and I'm compiling everything I use currently to trade into a toolkit of sorts. I hope maybe others can learn from it. By no means is this end all for everything. Always keep trying out new things and growing from them. I don't think I'll have the time to go over each specific thing in the toolkit today, but I will do future videos on them. But I figured I'd share my workspace. The first one I'm going to be sharing is for ThinkorSwim, which, if this is the default one. I would highly recommend that you go and make a backup of yours, say workspace as, and please back yours up before you import mine, because mine it configures a lot of different things. I'm going to be sharing a link below, and that link you'll import over here where it says open shared item once you've backed up your workspace. And also understanding I'm not a financial advisor, remember that. So down here you can choose what you want to name it. I'm not going to import it because I already have it. I'm going to load it. I name mine Dank. You can name yours whatever you want. Should look something like this. This is the way I trade. This is my active trading window currently. I'll show you what studies are loaded in, but I'm going to go over, again, skim over basics. I do hope to do a future video and talk about why I have these things. In the top right is active trade and sales, time and sales window. So you'll see what's flying by right now, nothing being traded, but when the market's open, it'll tell you which trades are going, what the size are, what the price, all that. Here's your ladder of prices, right, that are being bid offer or bid ask. And down here you'll have your level 2. But the interesting part you'll notice is obviously the studies loaded into the charts. Up here in the top left I have a 1 minute, and I'm going to show you the studies I have, but again, I don't think I'll be able to go into detail of all of them. But I have a bullish and a bearish SAR crossover. I have a money flow index indicator, but it's just there to go complement these two. I have an intraday VWAP, which some of these scripts were kind of handcrafted or ported by a member of our community, Zisa, so big thank you to them. This is one of them. Simple moving average are built in to the platform, but I use specifically the 9 and 24. I use buy, sell, accumulate, and volume buy, sell, which are some custom scripts I gathered. And you'll see this. And to give you a brief rundown, it's basically going to show you fast moving moments on the indicators for up, down, of when things move, obviously in a more parabolic fashion. Down here you're going to have the volume shown in a visual way of are they buying or selling, right? And down here it's going to try to differentiate between if it's buying or selling. Over here you have your VWAP that follows along. I like this one, that's one single line. Some people prefer it with deviations. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe this study can add deviations. You can add your own, however many you want, right, up to 3. Personally, I just use it like this. Down here in the bottom right is a 5-day, 15 minute. I'll alternate sometimes between the 1 minute day, 1 minute, 5-day, 5 minute, and the 5-day, 15 minute. But basically, aside from the small trend, I want to see what's happening on the big trend, right? On the bigger slice. And on this, you'll see a custom script that Zisa was kind enough to craft for ThinkorSwim for us, which is It's a super trend script. It'll try to identify a trend for you based on 3 moving averages. It's 10, 50, 250, and it's going to have a look back period, and it'll obviously try to infer things for you. It'll identify golden cross and death crosses. It'll color code them, and do remember, this isn't financial advice. It's just trying to give you a technical read of things. That being said, this is the active trading window I use. Obviously, you don't have to. You can use whichever one's comfortable for you, but I figured I'd share because some people sometimes inquire. I like having this indicator for futures. I don't know why it's easy to read for me. I don't trade futures, but I am attentive to them and what's happening in them. I don't trade Forex, so that one should be untouched. Yeah, it's pretty default, I'm pretty sure. The other thing that you're going to find different is charts. I call this my big macro chart. And when I'm looking into things with this, well, you have a couple indicators that are familiar to the eye because they're in the ATS, and you have new ones. So this is self-explanatory because it's the same as the previous indicator. Here's the base trend again, built in. But aside from that, I also have a couple other loaded in. The volume profile and the auto support resistance lines, I'm pretty sure I gathered on the internet, so I'll show you those links if I find them, and if not, I'm sorry, but if you're the author, let me know and I'll credit you. I think you can actually look at the script, and I have not touched them. Then down here you have what's called Psi RSI, which is like a smooth cyclical RSI, which I'll talk about that in a bit when I get to the TradingView moment. But this was ported by Zisa, so thank you again, shout out to them. But basically it's kind of simple to read to people that have used these type of indicators before, but I'm going to explain the newer ones up here just briefly. Again, I hope to do a future video which is more in depth, but it tries to draw auto support resistance lines based off your time frame. The other one is obviously a volume profile attempt on the side here. And the new one is, it's like RSI, but think of it as alive. And I'll go more in depth into that when I do the TradingView part, but this is how I use my big chart. And then on the flexible chart, if you have these floating little bars, you can get rid of them over here. I use obviously less indicators if I'm tracking more than one ticker at a time. But to give you an idea of what's in here, it's just a moving average of 924 in the buy sell accumulate with the volume buy sell infer. Basically I just want to know when things are being bought or being sold off, along with my 924 crossover. I will explain why on the crossover a little bit briefly on the TradingView segment, which that's what I'm going to get to next. But one last thing, if you go into the scanner, when you imported my configuration, you're also going to get some scans that are, again, I collected online. If you go into the personal, load, scan, query, personal, these I collected online, the mentorship ones. The pre-market gappers and the low float ones are very primitive ones that I built, but again, feel free to expand on them or use different ones. All of this is a work in progress. None of it is financial advice. Maybe it'll help you. It's helped me. It used to look way different, so I'm going to probably keep working on this and improving, and it might look completely different down the road. That being said, I'm going to move on to the TradingView segment, and I don't want everybody that, if you don't use ThinkorSwim, I don't want you to feel left out, so I'm going to share some scripts that I have and I use on TradingView as well. So those that don't use ThinkorSwim don't feel left out, and I still use TradingView as well. I've been trying to build a toolkit for it as well. So as a free user, like some people obviously only use the free version and they can only load 3 scripts. So I'm on a free account, and I'm going to show you the 3 scripts I load. The first one's already built in, which is RSI Cyclic Smooth, and I grabbed version 2 by When to Trade. And it's like RSI, similar to what you saw in ThinkorSwim, but it's like alive, is the only way I can phrase it. So you can see sometimes, such as here, it had a breakout of a channel, and then the channel itself moved up. So you have what I would normally consider healthy growth. And then when it's coming down, it still bounced off the bottom of the channel and kept in channel. Obviously, I can go on for days because this is a very complex script in my opinion. You can go read what the author writes about it because my summary will not do it any justice. But I really like it. I like it more than RSI. I've grown accustomed to it. It's easier for me to read, at least on some occasions. I think it's a little bit more intuitive because if you're watching it live, like on a 1 minute or 5 minute or whatnot, it's smarter, I feel, than some RSI scripts I've seen out there on different brokers. So there's that one. The other one I keep in my toolkit, which it was also in the ThinkorSwim package, but I'm going to load it down here as a custom script. Oh, I already have it loaded, that's why. let me add it, custom. Alright, so there's this one, this is a 924 SMA, that's all it is. You can change the colors, whatever. And it gives you buy alerts and sell alerts, but they're only based off the crossovers. Again, none of this is financial advice, and it works the same. I'll try to go more in depth and know why I use these versus other SMAs or EMAs. They're kind of clean. If you notice here, you're riding and bouncing above the 9 here, so it'd be nice up until where it gets dicey below it. So I would look for this failure of the 9, and as soon as you have whole bars closing, underneath this, that would be a moment of weakness. You'd have to watch it, and then the falling out of the 24 would be confirmation, but the crossover of the SMAs would be too late confirmation is what I call that. I always try to watch these attentively and try to be early to those, and I try to watch for any sort of choppiness below this, and I try to obviously cut it before the full crossover if I can, because obviously by then you'll lose more money. Never financial advice, but I will try to cover these in a future video, why I use the 924. The other one that I'm going to also, again, I'll be providing the links to all of this below, it's the super trend script that's also on ThinkorSwim. I'm going to hide the SMA, but basically it's trying to infer many things for you based on look back periods of SMAs, again 10, 50, 250. It tries to build a baseline, a trend line for you. Obviously any moment where it starts going through in orange area would be considered chop, and if you've used Ichimoku clouds, this might look somewhat familiar because I like Ichimoku clouds, but I've been trying to expand on that idea a little bit. So this is a script that obviously will try to color code things for you. A death cross is obviously not good, but it'll try to identify the death cross and the golden cross. Those are the only two things it'll try to identify for you. These work over different time frames, for smaller plays like scalps versus swings or long or whatever. None of this is ever financial advice. These are still work in progress. I will keep adding, taking away, revamping. For all I know, my trading setup might be completely different, a couple months from now or whatnot. So I will share all of this in the links, some links below, and I wish you luck. I will try to cover some of these more in depth in the future, but this is kind of what my trading setup looks like on an average day. As always, if you have questions and you'd like to reach me or contact me live, well, our Discord is currently open doors, so here's a link. Feel free to drop by, and I wish you luck or success, whichever you prefer. And have a good one. Never financial advice.